On the next episode of Arne Talk, we'll be joined by American model and actor and entrepreneur Nicholas Kotselas. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, my name is Arne and welcome to Arne Talk. Our guest for today is an American model and actor and a certified entrepreneur. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome Nicholas Kotselas.
Everybody.
Hi, Nick.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Where are you right now?
Right now I'm in San Diego. I'm downtown San Diego. In California.
All right, your last name is Kotselas.
Yeah.
It's actually a Greek name. I just found out that.
Yeah, and you said it pretty well.
You're partly Greek. Now, what do you miss most about Greece? Because I know that you've been to Greece many times, I'm sure, especially in summer. So what do you miss about the country?
Right, yeah, I've been there a few times. We've got a house over there still, so it's been the family for several generations. It's in a little small village, and it's just a completely different lifestyle there. It's as much as I love it, like things like social media are important, technology is not important. You just live in a small little secluded area, and that's pretty cool. And another thing I miss about it is, of course, the food. Every time we go back, the food in Greece is just incredible. That's what we try to bring some of that here with the restaurant, but it's just impossible to replicate. It's so fresh there. The seafood there is incredible, and you just can't find anything like that here in the United States. So that's probably what I miss most, but I mean, there's tons and tons of things on top of that too.
How about Santorini? I'm sure you love Santorini as well.
Santorini, yeah, Santorini. I actually went there for the first time this past, not this COVID summer, the one previous, and so I went there for the first time with my brothers and their girlfriends. And I was, the fifth wheel in that situation. But it was a good time. It was very, very beautiful. And you have the two opposite islands. We went to Mykonos first and Santorini second. So Mykonos is just a crazy wild party island. And then Santorini is just more calm and relaxed. And it's beautiful just how you walk outside your door and you're on the edge of a cliff. It feels like, it's really pretty neat.
We also learned that you're a restaurateur. You own a restaurant in San Diego. You just mentioned it earlier that it's a family business. So how are you able to manage being a model at the same time managing your family restaurant?
Yeah, the restaurant always kept me pretty busy, especially closer to when I was competing for Supra in 2018. We had just reopened about a year prior to that, so I was very, very busy then, and Marisa can testify, our national director. I was always busy, I was always working, I was getting it established and things like that. Now since then, it's kind of, thankfully we were able to get to a place where it was more controlled. And so I've been able to carve out some more free time and get involved in some other things. So thankfully it's kind of worked out that way. COVID also has kind of changed the dynamic. What's happening now is we're limited to mostly takeout. And so it is actually a lot easier to manage now as well, because we don't have to staff enough people for dine-in, and we don't even have to, there's no dine-in space anyways. It's just to go business, and that's very easy on us, and we're grateful to have a lot of to-go business as well. So we're doing okay, thankfully, and yeah, it's just gotten a little bit lighter of a workload over the past year or 2 years.
Okay, because I've mentioned about modeling, so when was the last time you were in LA? Because you do
LA.
Stint in LA.
Yeah, LA's kind of the place to be. I haven't been there much. I go there with family and stuff. So I was actually there, what was it, Christmas or Thanksgiving? We had up there with my aunt in Whittier. But most of the jobs I take, I just do here. So I just did, sunglass shoot like this past Sunday, and things like that. Most of the stuff I end up actually doing down here. And it's just, I feel like a lot of the modeling stuff isn't quite as active right now anyways. And so that's why I'm going a slightly different direction for this COVID period. And I think during the summer when COVID starts to go away, I could pick back up and, around the summertime and do some more modeling stuff, maybe go back to LA a little bit more. I do have plans to go up there. It's just, we're trying to figure out with everything going on when the best time might be.
You will be the country's representative in the upcoming Mr. Global pageant in Bangkok later this year. How do you feel about it? What are your preparations?
Yeah, I feel okay. it's kind of tough with everything. Gym access has been pretty limited, and it's kind of, I always love the gym, so that's kind of hurting me more than anything. But it's going well. I'm on the right path, and we're getting kind of back in form. And I think we'll bring a pretty strong package once we go. And like I said earlier, I think the date is confirmed to be August 5th. I just heard that less than 30 minutes ago. And so I'm happy to hear it's finally been confirmed, because I've been, I was supposed to be doing this like a full year ago, so it's kind of gone on, and I'm just looking forward to actually getting there and competing and getting it done.
Because this is the funny thing. I've learned you because of Mr. Supranational USA through Marisa, but just lately I found out that it was Arturo who actually bought the franchise for Mr. Global USA. So when I asked him about you, he said, yeah, he's my candidate. It's a small world, right?
It is kind of true that everyone knows everybody else. So it's kind of funny how small the world it is. I know Arturo is also involved in some of the supranational stuff as well. So I think he was getting the North Carolina license. And yeah, it's just kind of cool how it all like kind of links together. And of course, you knew both of them, which is just kind of odd. I got off the phone with both Marisa and Arturo within the last like 20 minutes. So I'm talking all three of you guys in the span of 20 minutes, and it's just kind of like I didn't know everyone knew everybody, but that's kind of how it works out.
What kind of day do you think would best describe the best day of your life?
The best day of my life, it has to be something with traveling. Travel is really big in my life, and I think that's pretty apparent. I'm always somewhere. I'm always doing something somewhere. Some different country, some road trip, something like that. I've had a couple great experiences and trips. Mainly my two of my long trips to Europe were just incredible. And it's hard to narrow it down to one specific day. But one day in Paris was up there, and many of the days in Iceland, I fell in love with that country. So
you mentioned Paris. When was the last time you were there?
Paris. The last time I was there actually was last year. I was just getting done with an interview process for a Netflix TV show, and so I missed my first flight to Greece, and I had to get a different flight, and that different flight that they got for me was a layover in Paris. So I had a brief two-hour lunch in Paris before flying off to Athens, Greece, and meeting up with my family just in time to get onto we were doing like a boat trip through some of the islands. So it was a really, really eventful day. But that was the last time I was there. And then before then, I had gone about 5 years ago. And we were there during the whole World Cup period, which was really fun to be in all those European countries during the World Cup as well.
Because you mentioned Netflix, I'm kind of very much interested with that. Although due to confidentiality, you're not allowed to discuss so many things. But you mentioned about casting. Is it like about a European series, a European movie or something?
I'm not actually exactly sure how much I'm allowed to say. It's been about a year at this point. I don't think it will matter too much. But it was an American show. It was just being filmed in England, and so I ended up actually getting the bit as a potential candidate, and they hold reserved candidates in these positions just in case, or if they decide to use you, or if they need to sub you in for somebody or someone's not working. The reason I think it was in England is because it was originally an English show, and then they adapted it for American TV and I think Brazilian TV as well. I enjoyed my stay. I was there for a few weeks, probably like close to a month, and yeah, it was a good time.
With the kind of profession that you have right now, how important is it to look good all the time?
That's a good question. In the restaurant business, I thought it was pretty important because you're meeting a lot of people face to face, especially when you're serving or dealing with them directly, and as well when you're doing like catering orders or preparing people's weddings. Of course, you need to be well prepared. In my current job of doing loans and things like that, generally you want to be professionally dressed. You want to look good. But now with COVID, I mean, I do most of my deals in sweats. So I'll do like $1 million deals in sweatpants. And no one knows. Of course, when things start opening back up, I'm gonna have to get out there. I'm gonna have to be presentable, business attire, look good, look professional, and kind of grow it that way. So that's gonna be coming, but still a few months away.
Which leads me to this next question. Do you think a good look is a blessing or a curse?
A good look, I guess it's a blessing. I mean, I guess it can't hurt, right? But sometimes you have to work for it too. It's there's a lot of maintenance involved. You have to upkeep. You have to stay in shape. I guess it's a blessing, but you're kind of you set in a level that you have to continue to meet, or people are going to start questioning, hey, like what's going on, So it's maybe a bit of both, but maybe I would say edging on the side of blessing more than curse.
What is your most awkward moment in public?
My most awkward moment in public. What was an awkward moment was the Super National. The dinosaur question. I didn't know how to answer the dinosaur question. I don't know if anyone remembers, but it was funny because Mr. Thailand had proposed that question and he had mentioned it to me. So I was just by chance halfway prepared because he just mentioned it in passing on one of the buses. It wasn't like we were cheating or anything. And it was just, I when I got the question on stage, I just couldn't believe it. I was halfway grateful that I had overheard him talking about the question on the bus earlier. But I also wasn't sure how to answer it. I think I answered it okay, but I don't have many awkward public I haven't had many awkward public situations. I just thought that one was pretty funny. So I would maybe put that one up there. It was a good time, it was different, I guess.
Because you mentioned Supranational, maybe let me ask this question. I'm sure you know him. If you recall his name, Howie Ventura from Mississology.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I remember we went to. I feel like you know everybody, so you're just a popular person.
When I was searching you on Facebook, the first thing that I searched was your picture with Paui. So it's kind of really.
Yeah. We were with Paui kind of quite a few times, but I remember one time in particular we were at like one of the water parks. I think we had crossed over from Poland to Slovakia, and so we were there as well, and that was a great time. So yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
What's one thing that you're supposed to do but was canceled due to COVID-19?
Oh man, I was supposed to go to Colombia with Arturo actually. So and I know I know that. Yeah, he was there in December. We were talking about that. I felt terrible about it. I committed to going. I told him I was going to go. I had bought my ticket. I had packed my bags. I was all set, ready to go. I was going to help him do some sashing, I think. And what happened was, at last minute, my family kind of begged me not to go because the Christmas holidays were coming up. And if I got something from the airplane or from Colombia or whatever, brought it back, then I would risk giving it to my family. Vaccines weren't, in play yet, and it was just too risky. And on top of that, even if I wanted to come back in quarantine, that wouldn't work because I live with my brother as well. So if if we were in contact and he went, it was just too messy of a situation. So unfortunately, I had to cancel. But I told Arturo, him that thankfully they refunded my full ticket as part of the COVID policy, and so I'm ready to go, and I have that ticket ready to go anytime. And hopefully within the next few months, we'll be able to make that happen.
Good thing you mentioned that, because it kind of recalled me then. I was particularly involved with his trip in Colombia, though I'm here in the Philippines. But yeah, we should have met there.
Yeah, we should. Yeah,
Marisa keeps on mentioning your name to us before. Well, Marisa, by the way, is half Filipino.
Right. I'm gonna have to make it over there at some point. Philippines is high on my list. So
really,
I have to go. Yeah, I have to go.
Moving on with the next part of our conversation, the Q&A round. So prepared some questions for you on this one.
Sure.
All right. The first one: which role of a man do you think that complements a woman better? A father, a son, or a partner?
It depends on the phrasing of it, but I would say as a partner where they complement each other. I think the dynamic where they kind of work with each other is kind of it's kind of a special dynamic, and I think that's probably what I would say is the best complement there. That's what I want to find eventually.
Would you marry the one you love or the ones who love you?
I'd rather marry the one I love and then hope they love me back. Because if I'm not in it, then I don't see a point, and I won't get involved in that. So I'm patiently waiting, and that's another thing I'm looking for, and hopefully we'll find soon.
Do you consider yourself a giver or a taker?
I'm 100% a giver. I've noticed through life I kind of reject help very often, and then when it comes to trying to help people, I'll give a lot of time, and that's just kind of always been how I am. I don't know. I like to give, so I would definitely say giver. This
next question is very important to you. Why do you think male pageants are less celebrated than female beauty pageants?
That's a good question. I think, unfortunately, I think it boils down to some aspect of everyone idolizes the female, the female body and female everything involved, the whole female side of it. Now, whether there's a problem in that or not, I'm not one to say. We kind of get overtaken by everything for the males is dominated by sports, and so males here, it's different than over there, but here they all look towards football players, basketball players, and everything like that. And for pageants, it's just non-existent. But for the women's, Miss Universe is actually pretty big. So that's kind of the issue in the United States, and something I actually try to change and address. And that was actually one of my answers in the Supernational interviews portion. And that's kind of what I wanted to be a role model, because I think I'm kind of going on a tangent on your question here. I hope there wasn't a time frame like there would be in a competition, but part of what I thought was when people look up to sporting people, especially in the United States, you can't guarantee that person's going to be of good character. You see a lot of times people in sporting, who you look up to, they make a lot of mistakes. The character is not good, but a mister, for example, will by default have good character. I hope because they've gone through the competition and proven they have good character. And I think in that example, they prove that they're a very good role model, and they can then be a good role model for everyone who's looking up to them. And I think that's why it's kind of unfortunate that males here don't care about the pageantry as much as they might in other countries. But I think the good thing is there's people like Arturo and Marisa who are starting to change that. We're seeing a lot more involvement and activity in the competitions in both Supra and global. And so I think gradually this will get adopted and it will change. And I hope at the end of the day, male pageants and female pageants will be more or less even. Sorry for the long answer.
That's okay. I was listening to you. Maybe your entry this time, and this would be your second time joining, it might change some perspective towards male pageantry. Moving on with our next part of the show, which is Fast Talk. Well, you have to answer this as fast as you can, okay?
Okay.
Your favorite food?
Steak. Meat.
How much water do you take per day?
1 gallon. I fill it up, a gallon every night, and I drink it by the end of the night and fill it up again.
How much sleep do you get per night?
6 hours on a good day.
Favorite sleepwear?
Sweats.
How many pillows do you sleep with?
2.
Last thing you do before you go to sleep?
Brush my teeth.
First thing you do as soon as you wake up?
Check my phone.
Do you talk in your sleep?
No.
Your favorite hideaway?
My favorite hideaway? Shoot, I don't know. That's a tough question. Maybe get away like in my car and hide away there. I have like a little camping setup, so maybe I would say that.
What workout do you do?
workout, I break it into 4 days. I do chest and biceps one day. I do back and triceps one day. I do shoulders and abs one day, legs one day.
That answers a lot because you have a very good physique. All right.
Yeah, better before COVID hit and the gym's closed, but we're getting back into it. Yeah, so it's all diet and exercise.
Next question: beach or mountain?
Mountains, 100%.
Good face or good body?
Good face.
Lunch date or dinner date?
Dinner.
Love letters or sweet chats?
Sweet chats.
What part of a girl's body is your favorite?
I'm gonna say face. It's the safe answer, and it's also the answer I believe in most.
What part of a woman's body do you look at first?
Face and eyes as well. I think eyes pop, and I've always been drawn to really, really beautiful eyes. So.
What else in a girl turns you on?
Good character. Someone who is not negative.
What turns you off?
Negativity, pessimism, and like just being unpleasant to deal with.
3 women that you find sexy.
Oh boy, this is gonna be the hardest one. I don't even know off the top of my head. We'll say Margot Robbie, and then we'll just say Anne Hathaway and Natalie Portman.
Natalie and Anne Hathaway. Yeah, everybody likes them.
they're good choices.
Using only body language, how would you make a woman know that you admire her?
Just by giving a look for an extra couple of seconds. I think that does it.
Do you like your woman sexy or conservative?
More conservative.
What is your ideal girl?
Anything. One of my history teachers when I was growing up, he always said, it doesn't matter what they look like, blonde, brunette, whatever, as long as it all comes together. And I believe in that. As long as everything comes together, I have no preferences. As long as I'm attracted to them and they're nice people, that's it.
Does size matter?
Does size matter? I don't think so.
All right, that's very clear. Are you currently dating someone?
No, definite no.
Oh, okay, so you're single. All right, that's
very single.
They want to know.
Yeah, okay. Very single.
Okay, we're down to the last part of our conversation. What is the first thing that you would like to do when COVID-19 is over?
First thing I'm doing is I'm getting on a plane and flying anywhere. I just need to travel somewhere. I need to go explore. That's kind of my life, and that's the first thing I'm doing.
The greatest thing that you learned from this pandemic?
The greatest thing that I learned is that you have to really value life. So many people have been lost. I haven't thankfully lost anyone too close, but some people kind of distantly. So you just have to really appreciate life and what we have at the moment. You never know, like something like this could happen again. So or anything similar to affect myself or my family. So
now this is actually the last part of it. I'd like to thank the Red Bear Media in Hollywood, California, and Mr. Supranational USA organization headed by Marisa Loretta for making this interview possible with you. Now, since you will be competing for Mr. Global later this year in Bangkok, Thailand, what would you like to say to your fans in your journey?
I have to say thank you everyone who's been supportive of me. I know a lot of people have been supporting me since Supranational, and I constantly get messages, and it keeps me moving, it keeps me going. They're nothing but positive. And just seeing that, even though I might not be the best responding sometimes, it's just it keeps me in the right mental state to keep pushing, to keep trying to do the best I can, and to prepare as best I can for global. And so I appreciate everyone, and I'm going to do the best I can for you come August.
Yes, there you go, guys. Please support Nicholas Kotselas in his upcoming journey in the Mr. Global pageant later this year in Bangkok, Thailand. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure with me to speak with you tonight. I'm looking forward for Your entry on Netflix, you mentioned about that. Looking forward to see you in more projects in Hollywood, and maybe, as you mentioned, about some European series.
Very, very soon. I'll try to hold myself to that, and hopefully it comes true.
Thank you so much for your time, Nick.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Take